Have you ever noticed that some mornings you wake up and your hands feel like they're locked in place, your knees refuse to bend without protest, and even simple tasks like opening a bottle or getting out of bed feel like monumental challenges? And have you also noticed that almost everyone you know who's over 60 seems to be dealing with the same thing? We talk about it at family gatherings, at church, at the grocery store. Oh, my arthritis is acting up again. My joints are killing me today. I can barely hold a pen anymore. And the response is always the same. Well, that's just what happens when you get older. There's nothing you can really do about it. But what if that's not true? What if the reason so many seniors are suffering with arthritis discomfort has less to do with age and more to do with something that's missing from nearly every older adult's diet? What if your aching joints, your stiff fingers, your painful knees aren't just crying out in pain, but are actually crying out for specific nutrients that your body desperately needs but isn't getting? And what if, when you give your body those nutrients, when you fill in those nutritional gaps, your joints could actually start to heal, the pain could decrease, and you could move more freely than you have in years? I know that might sound too good to be true. I know you've probably tried things before that didn't work. I know you might be skeptical. But stay with me today, because what I'm about to share with you is based on solid nutritional science and on the real experiences of countless seniors who thought they were destined to live with arthritis pain forever until they discovered what their bodies were missing. Today we're going to talk about arthritis discomfort after 60, and I'm going to walk you through the specific nutrients that are absolutely critical for joint health, nutrients that most seniors are severely deficient in. I'm going to explain why these deficiencies are so common, what happens in your joints when you don't have enough of these nutrients, and exactly what you can do to correct those deficiencies through food and, when necessary, supplementation. And I'm going to share some real stories of people who made these changes and experienced dramatic relief from pain and stiffness that they'd been living with for years. Now, before we go any further, I need to be absolutely clear about something. I am not a medical doctor. I am a health educator and nutrition teacher. I am not here to diagnose you. I am not here to replace your healthcare provider, and I am not here to tell you to stop taking medications or ignore medical advice. What I am here to do is educate you about the nutritional factors that affect joint health, so that you can make informed decisions and have meaningful conversations with your doctor. If you're experiencing severe pain, significant swelling, or any symptoms that concern you, please see a medical professional. But if you're dealing with the everyday discomfort of arthritis and you're looking for natural ways to support your joints and reduce pain, then this information could be exactly what you need. Let me start by asking you something, and I'd really love to hear from you in the comments. How old are you, and where do you experience arthritis discomfort? Is it your hands, your knees, your hips, your shoulders, your back? And how long have you been dealing with this? Go ahead and comment below, because I think you'll find that you're not alone, and sometimes just knowing that others understand what you're going through can bring real comfort. All right, so let's talk about what arthritis actually is and what's happening in your joints when you have it. Arthritis simply means inflammation of the joints. There are many different types, but the most common type in people over 60 is osteoarthritis, sometimes called degenerative arthritis, or wear and tear arthritis. With osteoarthritis, the cartilage that cushions the ends of your bones gradually breaks down. Cartilage is that smooth, slippery tissue that allows your bones to glide over each other without friction. When the cartilage wears away, bone starts rubbing against bone, and that causes pain, stiffness, swelling, and loss of mobility. Now, most people are told that this cartilage breakdown is just a natural, inevitable part of aging. You use your joints for 60, 70, 80 years, and eventually they just wear out, like tires on a car. And while it's true that some degree of cartilage change does occur as we age, the severity of the breakdown and the amount of pain you experience are not inevitable. They're not predetermined. And here's what most people don't understand. Cartilage is living tissue. It's not just some inert cushion sitting in your joints. It's made up of cells called chondrocytes, and these cells are constantly working to maintain and repair the cartilage structure. But here's the critical part. Those chondrocyte cells can only do their job if they have the raw materials they need. They need specific nutrients to build and maintain healthy cartilage. And if your body is deficient in those nutrients, if you're not giving those cells what they need, they simply cannot keep up with the repair work. The cartilage breaks down faster than it can be rebuilt, and that's when arthritis symptoms develop and progressively worsen. So, what are these critical nutrients? Let me walk you through them, because understanding this is absolutely key to taking control of your joint health. The first nutrient, and one that almost no one talks about, is sulfur. When I mention sulfur to people, they often look confused. Sulfur? Isn't that something in chemistry class? But sulfur is actually one of the most abundant minerals in your body, and it's absolutely essential for healthy joints. Sulfur is a key building block of cartilage, tendons, and ligaments. It's needed to produce collagen and other structural proteins. It's also important for reducing inflammation and supporting detoxification. Without adequate sulfur, your body simply cannot build or maintain healthy connective tissue. And here's the problem. Most people's diets today are severely deficient in sulfur. Why? Because sulfur comes primarily from protein foods and certain vegetables, but modern agricultural practices have depleted sulfur from the soil, which means the foods we eat contain less sulfur than they used to. On top of that, many people aren't eating enough of the sulfur-rich foods in the first place. The best sources of sulfur are eggs, particularly the yolks. Garlic and onions are excellent sources. Cruciferous vegetables like broccoli, cauliflower, cabbage, and Brussels sprouts are rich in sulfur. And animal proteins like beef, chicken, fish, and organ meats contain sulfur-containing amino acids. If you're not eating these foods regularly, multiple times per week, there's a very good chance you're deficient in sulfur, and that deficiency is directly contributing to your arthritis pain. The second critical nutrient is vitamin C. Now, most people know that vitamin C is important for the immune system, for fighting colds, things like that. But what many people don't realize is that vitamin C is absolutely essential for producing collagen. Collagen is the main structural protein in your body. It's what gives structure to your cartilage, your tendons, your ligaments, your skin, your blood vessels. Without adequate vitamin C, your body cannot make collagen, period. And without collagen, your joints fall apart. Think of collagen like the steel framework of a building. Vitamin C is what allows your body to construct that framework. If you don't have enough vitamin C, the framework becomes weak, unstable, and eventually starts to crumble. That's what's happening in your joints when you're vitamin C deficient. Now, you might be thinking, but I eat some fruit, I get vitamin C. And maybe you do get some, but here's the thing. Vitamin C is very fragile. It's destroyed by heat, by light, by air exposure. If you're cooking your vegetables until they're mushy, you've destroyed most of the vitamin C. If your fruit has been sitting around for days or weeks, much of the vitamin C is gone. And as we age, our bodies may need more vitamin C than the standard recommendations suggest. The best sources of vitamin C are fresh, raw fruits and vegetables. Citrus fruits like oranges and grapefruits. Berries, especially strawberries and kiwi. Bell peppers, especially red ones, are incredibly high in vitamin C. Broccoli, Brussels sprouts, and leafy greens. And you want to eat these foods as fresh as possible, raw or very lightly cooked, to preserve the vitamin C content. The third essential nutrient is vitamin D. I've talked about vitamin D in other videos because it's so critically important for so many aspects of health, and yet deficiency is absolutely rampant among seniors. Vitamin D is crucial for bone health, yes, but it's also essential for reducing inflammation, supporting immune function, and maintaining muscle strength. Research has consistently shown that people with low vitamin D levels have more severe arthritis symptoms, more pain, more stiffness, and faster progression of joint damage. Your body can make vitamin D when your skin is exposed to sunlight, but as we age, our skin becomes much less efficient at this process. You'd need to spend significant time in direct sunlight, with a good portion of your skin exposed several times a week. And most seniors simply aren't doing that. They're indoors most of the time, or they're covered up when they go outside, or they live in climates where there isn't enough strong sunlight for much of the year. Food sources of vitamin D include fatty fish like salmon, mackerel, and sardines. Egg yolks contain some vitamin D. Some foods are fortified with it, like certain dairy products. But even if you're eating these foods regularly, it's very difficult to get enough vitamin D from diet alone. Most seniors need to supplement with vitamin D. I generally recommend having your levels tested and then working with your healthcare provider to determine the right dose for you, but many people do well with 1,000 to 2,000 IU per day, sometimes more. The fourth critical nutrient is magnesium. Magnesium is involved in over 300 different biochemical reactions in your body. It's essential for muscle function, nerve function, energy production, and importantly for our discussion today, for regulating inflammation and supporting cartilage health. When you're deficient in magnesium, inflammation increases, muscle tension increases, pain sensitivity increases, and your body's ability to repair tissues decreases. And guess what? Study after study shows that most seniors are deficient in magnesium. The reasons are similar to what we've already discussed. Magnesium has been depleted from agricultural soils. It's not present in processed foods. And certain medications that many seniors take, like diuretics for blood pressure and proton pump inhibitors for acid reflux, actually deplete magnesium from the body. Good food sources of magnesium include dark leafy greens like spinach and Swiss chard. Nuts and seeds, especially almonds, cashews, and pumpkin seeds. Avocados are rich in magnesium. Dark chocolate, the real stuff with high cocoa content, is a good source. Whole grains and legumes contain magnesium. But even with a good diet, many people benefit from magnesium supplementation. Magnesium glycinate is often the best form because it's well absorbed and doesn't cause the digestive upset that some other forms can cause. The fifth nutrient I want to talk about is omega-3 fatty acids. These are incredibly powerful anti-inflammatory compounds, and they can make a dramatic difference in arthritis symptoms. Omega-3s work by reducing the production of inflammatory chemicals in your body. They help to quiet down the inflammatory process that's causing pain, swelling, and damage in your joints. Study after study has shown that people who consume adequate amounts of omega-3 fatty acids have significantly less joint pain, less morning stiffness, better grip strength, and better overall joint function compared to people who are deficient. And most people are deficient because the modern diet is very low in omega-3s and very high in omega-6 fatty acids, which promote inflammation. This imbalance between omega-6s and omega-3s is a major driver of chronic inflammation in the body. The best food sources of omega-3s are fatty fish like wild-caught salmon, mackerel, sardines, herring, and anchovies. You want to be eating these fish at least 2 to 3 times per week. If you're not eating fish regularly, and most seniors aren't, then you should strongly consider taking a high-quality fish oil supplement. Look for one that's been tested for purity and heavy metals and aim for at least 1,000 milligrams of combined EPA and DHA per day. Some people with arthritis benefit from even higher doses, but discuss this with your healthcare provider. Now, beyond these foundational nutrients, there are a few other compounds that are specifically helpful for cartilage health and arthritis. One is glucosamine, and another is chondroitin. These are natural compounds that are found in healthy cartilage. Glucosamine helps stimulate the production of cartilage components, and chondroitin helps keep cartilage hydrated and resilient. Supplementing with these compounds can help support cartilage repair and reduce arthritis symptoms. There's quite a bit of research on glucosamine and chondroitin for osteoarthritis, particularly knee osteoarthritis, and the results are generally positive. Not everyone responds to these supplements, but many people do, and they're very safe with minimal side effects. The typical dose is 1,500 milligrams of glucosamine and 1,200 milligrams of chondroitin per day, though you should check with your healthcare provider. Another important compound is collagen itself. Remember, collagen is the main structural protein in cartilage. As we age, our bodies produce less and less collagen, and this contributes to cartilage breakdown and arthritis. But you can support your body's collagen levels by consuming collagen-rich foods or taking a collagen supplement. The best food source of collagen is bone broth, which is made by simmering bones and connective tissue for many hours. This extracts the collagen and other beneficial compounds from the bones into the broth. Drinking a cup or two of homemade bone broth every day can be incredibly beneficial for joint health. If making bone broth isn't practical for you, you can take a collagen supplement. Look for hydrolyzed collagen or collagen peptides, which are easy to digest and absorb. There's growing research showing that collagen supplementation can help reduce joint pain and improve joint function in people with osteoarthritis. Let me ask you a question, and I'd love to hear from you in the comments. Are you currently taking any supplements for your joints? Have you tried things like glucosamine, fish oil, vitamin D, or collagen? And if so, have you noticed any benefit? Please share your experience, because I think we can all learn from each other's stories. Now, let me share with you what happened when someone actually put all of this into practice. There was a man, I'll call him Edward, who was 70 years old and had such severe arthritis in both knees that he could barely walk. He told me the pain was constant, throbbing, debilitating. He'd been to multiple doctors, he'd tried various medications, he'd even been told that he was a candidate for knee replacement surgery. He was taking prescription anti-inflammatory drugs, but they were causing stomach problems and only providing minimal relief. When I sat down with Edward and we went through his typical diet, I wasn't surprised by what I found. For breakfast, he usually had toast with jam and coffee. For lunch, maybe a sandwich and some chips. For dinner, he'd have some kind of meat, potatoes, and maybe a small portion of overcooked vegetables. He rarely ate fish. He didn't take any supplements. He spent virtually no time in the sun. His diet was almost completely devoid of the nutrients his joints needed to heal. We made comprehensive changes. We increased his vegetable intake dramatically, especially sulfur-rich vegetables like broccoli, onions, and garlic. We added fatty fish to his diet twice a week. We started him on high-quality supplements: vitamin D, magnesium, a fish oil supplement, glucosamine and chondroitin, and a collagen supplement. We also had him making and drinking bone broth several times a week. And critically, We eliminated the foods that were driving inflammation: sugar, white bread, pasta, processed snack, foods, and unhealthy oils. The changes didn't happen overnight. This isn't magic. But within about a month, Edward told me he noticed that the constant gnawing pain had decreased somewhat. After 2 months, he said he could walk further without pain than he'd been able to in over a year. After 4 months, he'd reduced his pain medication significantly. And after 6 months, Edward told me something that brought tears to my eyes. He said, "I thought I was going to need surgery. I thought my life was over. But now I can walk without severe pain. I can play with my grandchildren. I feel like I've been given my life back." And he canceled the knee replacement surgery because he simply didn't need it anymore. Now I need to be very clear. Not everyone will have results as dramatic as Edward's. Everyone's body is different. Some people have more severe arthritis than others. Some people have other health conditions that complicate things. But I will tell you this: in my many years of working with seniors who have arthritis, the vast majority of people who corrected their nutritional deficiencies and started eating to support joint health experienced significant improvement in their symptoms. Not everyone becomes pain-free, but most people experience meaningful relief that improves their quality of life. Let's talk about some other dietary factors that affect arthritis, because it's not just about adding in the good stuff. You also need to eliminate or drastically reduce the things that are driving inflammation and damaging your joints. The biggest culprit is sugar and refined carbohydrates. Every time you eat sugar or refined flour products like white bread, pasta, pastries, cookies, your blood sugar spikes. That spike triggers an inflammatory response in your body. If you're eating these foods regularly, multiple times a day, you're creating chronic, constant inflammation that affects every system in your body, including your joints. You're basically throwing gasoline on the fire of arthritis. Processed foods and unhealthy oils are another major problem. Things like vegetable oils, soybean oil, corn oil, and canola oil are very high in omega-6 fatty acids. A little bit of omega-6 is fine, but the modern diet is overloaded with these oils, and they promote inflammation when consumed in excess. These oils are in almost every processed food, every packaged snack, every restaurant meal. You need to avoid them as much as possible and instead use healthy fats like olive oil, avocado oil, coconut oil, butter from grass-fed cows, and animal fats from healthy sources. On the other hand, a diet based on whole, unprocessed foods naturally reduces inflammation. This means lots and lots of vegetables, a rainbow of colors, healthy fats from avocados, nuts, seeds, olive oil, and fatty fish, high-quality proteins from pastured eggs, grass-fed meats, and wild-caught fish, herbs and spices like turmeric and ginger, which have powerful anti-inflammatory properties. This kind of diet gives your body what it needs to heal and doesn't burden it with inflammatory triggers. I also want to mention nightshade vegetables because this comes up frequently in arthritis discussions. Nightshades include tomatoes, potatoes, bell peppers, and eggplant. Some people with arthritis find that these vegetables worsen their symptoms. The reason isn't entirely clear, but nightshades contain compounds called alkaloids that can be irritating to some people's joints. Not everyone is sensitive to nightshades, but if you've been doing everything else right and you're still having significant symptoms, it might be worth eliminating nightshades from your diet for 3 to 4 weeks to see if you notice improvement. You can always add them back in later to test whether they affect you. Hydration is another critical factor that most people overlook. Your joints need water to function properly. The cartilage in your joints is about 70 to 80% water. The synovial fluid that lubricates your joints is made mostly of water. If you're dehydrated, your cartilage becomes dry and brittle, your joints become stiff, and they're more prone to damage. And as I've mentioned before, most seniors are chronically dehydrated because the sense of thirst diminishes with age. You need to drink at least 6 to 8 glasses of pure, clean water every day. Not coffee, not tea, not juice or soda, but water. Make it a habit. Don't wait until you're thirsty. Keep a water bottle with you. Drink a glass when you wake up, drink a glass before each meal, drink water throughout the day. Your joints need this water to stay healthy. Let's talk about body weight for a moment, because this is an important factor, especially for arthritis in weight-bearing joints like the knees and hips. Excess body weight puts tremendous stress on these joints. Research shows that for every pound of body weight you carry, your knees experience about 4 pounds of pressure when you walk. So if you're carrying 20 extra pounds, that's 80 pounds of extra pressure on your knees with every single step you take. That accelerates cartilage breakdown and worsens arthritis. The good news is that losing even a modest amount of weight can significantly reduce arthritis pain and slow the progression of joint damage. And when you start eating the way I've described, when you eliminate sugar and processed foods and start eating whole, nutrient-dense foods, weight loss often happens naturally without you having to count calories or go on some restrictive diet. Your body simply finds its healthy weight when you give it real food. Now let's talk about movement, because this is critical and often misunderstood. When your joints hurt, the natural inclination is to avoid moving them. You don't want to cause more pain, so you become less active. But here's the paradox. Gentle, regular movement is actually one of the best things you can do for arthritic joints. Movement increases blood flow to the joints, brings in nutrients and oxygen, helps remove waste products, circulates synovial fluid, strengthens the muscles that support the joints, and maintains flexibility and range of motion. The key word is gentle. You don't want high-impact activities that pound your joints, like running or jumping. Instead, focus on low-impact activities like walking, swimming, water aerobics, cycling, tai chi, or gentle yoga. Even just 15 to 20 minutes of gentle movement each day can make a significant difference. Start where you are, listen to your body, and gradually increase your activity as you feel able. Strength training is also important because strong muscles support and protect your joints. You don't need a gym membership or fancy equipment. Simple bodyweight exercises, resistance bands, or light dumbbells can be very effective. Focus on strengthening the muscles around the joints that are affected. If you have knee arthritis, strengthen your quadriceps and hamstrings. If you have shoulder arthritis, strengthen the muscles of the rotator cuff. A physical therapist can help you develop a safe, effective program. Let me share one more story. There was a woman, I'll call her Jean, who was 66 years old and had terrible arthritis in her hands. She told me she could barely hold a pen, couldn't open jars, struggled with buttons and zippers, couldn't do her crafts and hobbies anymore. She was taking pain medication daily, but it barely touched the pain. She was depressed and felt like she was losing her independence. When we looked at Jean's diet, it was clear she wasn't getting the nutrients her joints needed. Very few vegetables, almost no fish, lots of bread and sweets, not much water. We made the same kinds of changes I've described. More vegetables, especially sulfur-rich ones, fatty fish twice a week, adequate water, and we added vitamin D, magnesium, omega-3s, glucosamine, chondroitin, and collagen supplements. We also worked on gentle hand exercises to maintain mobility and strength. Simple things like squeezing a softball, spreading her fingers wide and bringing them back together, touching each fingertip to her thumb, gentle stretches, And every evening before bed, she would soak her hands in warm water with Epsom salts to soothe the inflammation. Within about 6 weeks, Jean noticed her hands felt less stiff in the mornings. After 3 months, she said the constant aching had decreased significantly and she could use her hands more easily. After 6 months, she was back to doing her needlework, something she thought she'd never be able to do again. She told me she felt like she'd been given a second chance at the activities she loved. Let me ask you one more time, and please share in the comments. What changes are you willing to make to your diet to help your joints? Are you ready to add more vegetables, cut back on sugar, start taking some key supplements? Or does it feel overwhelming? Share honestly, because I think hearing from each other helps us all feel less alone in this journey. Now, let me mention a few other supportive practices that can help with arthritis discomfort. Heat therapy can be wonderful for relaxing muscles and easing stiffness. Try a warm bath, a heating pad, or warm compresses on painful joints. Cold therapy can help reduce inflammation and numb acute pain. Try ice packs on swollen joints. Some people find that alternating between heat and cold works best. Experiment and see what feels good to you. Gentle massage of the muscles and tissues around arthritic joints can help reduce pain and improve mobility. You can do this yourself, or you can see a professional massage therapist. Even just a few minutes of gentle, soothing massage each day can make a difference. Managing stress is also important because stress directly increases inflammation in the body. When you're stressed, your body produces cortisol and other hormones that promote inflammation. Chronic stress makes arthritis worse. So finding healthy ways to manage stress is not optional, it's essential. Prayer, meditation, deep breathing exercises, spending time in nature, connecting with loved ones, pursuing hobbies, listening to music, find what works for you and make it a regular part of your life. And prioritize sleep. During deep sleep, your body does the majority of its healing and repair work. If you're not sleeping well, your body can't properly repair damaged tissues, and inflammation tends to be higher. Create a calming bedtime routine, keep your bedroom cool and dark, avoid screens for an hour before bed, and consider natural sleep supports like magnesium or herbal teas. Now, I want to emphasize something really important. The approach I've described today is not a quick fix. It's not going to eliminate all your arthritis pain overnight. But if you're consistent, if you give your body the nutrients it needs, day after day, week after week, most people will see gradual, meaningful improvement. It might take a few weeks before you notice changes. It might take a few months before the changes become really significant. But if you stick with it, if you're patient and consistent, your body will respond. Your body wants to heal. It wants to function well. It has an incredible capacity for repair and regeneration, even at 70, 80, 90 years old. But it needs the raw materials. It needs the nutrients. It needs you to stop flooding it with inflammatory foods and start nourishing it with what it actually needs. And please, work with your healthcare provider. Tell your doctor about the changes you're making. If you're on medications for arthritis pain, your doctor needs to monitor you, because as your symptoms improve, you may be able to reduce your medication dosages. Some people are able to eliminate pain medications entirely when they address the nutritional root causes. But these decisions should always be made under medical supervision. I also want to encourage you to be kind to yourself. Living with arthritis is hard. It's painful, it's frustrating, it's discouraging. There will be good days and bad days. There will be times when you follow all the guidelines and still have pain. That's okay. What matters is the overall trend, the overall improvement over time. Don't expect perfection. Just keep moving in the right direction. Now, if you found this information valuable, if you learned something today that you think could help you, or someone you care about, I would be so grateful if you would share this video. Share it with your friends, your family, people in your community. So many seniors are suffering with arthritis and have no idea that nutritional deficiencies might be a major part of the problem. The more people who understand this connection, the more people who can experience relief and improved quality of life. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to this channel and turn on notifications so you don't miss future videos. We're committed to providing practical, science-based health education specifically for seniors. We want to help you understand your body, make informed decisions, and live with as much comfort, strength, and independence as possible. Every subscription helps us reach more people with this information, and that's what this work is all about. If you have questions, if you'd like to share your own arthritis journey, or if there's a specific health topic you'd like me to address in a future video, please leave a comment. I read every single comment, and your feedback helps guide the content I create. Your experiences matter, your questions matter, and I want to make sure I'm providing the information that's most helpful to you. All right, let's bring everything together. Arthritis discomfort after 60 is very often related to nutritional deficiencies. Your joints need specific nutrients to maintain healthy cartilage and control inflammation. These include sulfur from eggs, garlic, onions, and cruciferous vegetables, vitamin C from fresh fruits and vegetables, vitamin D from sun exposure and supplementation, magnesium from leafy greens, nuts, and seeds, omega-3 fatty acids from fatty fish or fish oil supplements, and compounds like glucosamine, chondroitin, and collagen that directly support cartilage health. Most seniors are deficient in multiple of these nutrients, and those deficiencies directly contribute to joint pain and deterioration. The good news is that you can correct these deficiencies through dietary changes and appropriate supplementation. Eat more vegetables, especially the sulfur-rich ones. Eat fatty fish regularly or take fish oil. Get your vitamin D levels checked and supplement as needed. Consider magnesium, glucosamine, chondroitin, and collagen. Drink bone broth if you can. Beyond adding in these nutrients, you need to eliminate the foods that drive inflammation: sugar, refined carbohydrates, processed foods, and unhealthy vegetable oils. Focus on whole, real foods. Stay well hydrated. Maintain a healthy body weight. Move your body gently and regularly. Manage stress and prioritize sleep. These changes take time, they take consistency, they take patience. But they work. Give your body what it needs, and it will reward you with less pain, better mobility, and improved quality of life. You may not be able to reverse all joint damage, but you can significantly reduce symptoms, slow progression, and feel so much better. You deserve to live without constant pain. You deserve to use your hands freely, to walk comfortably, to do the things you enjoy. You deserve to understand what's happening in your body and to have the knowledge and tools to support your health. I hope that today I've given you some of that knowledge and some practical steps you can take starting right now. Thank you so much for being here with me today. Thank you for caring enough about your health to seek out this information. Thank you for being willing to make changes and take control of your well-being. I am so grateful for each and every one of you. I wish you comfort, healing, strength, and many pain-free days ahead. Take care of yourself, be patient with the process, and remember that your body is incredibly resilient and capable of healing when given what it needs. I'll see you in the next video.